Radio Derby. Hello, good evening. I'm Steve Jordan across Derbyshire and East Staffordshire, marking the passing of Prince Philip, the Duke of Edinburgh. And Andrew Broughton is an autograph collector from Derby and has some autographs of the Duke of Edinburgh. Andrew, good evening to you.
Good evening, Steve.
What was going through your head when you heard the news at lunchtime today?
Very, very sad day. A really important day for the country, and I think a huge loss for the UK and the world in general. I mean, it was a great age, and you kind of expect this to happen, but when it comes, it's still a massive shock. Because when you think of what's left now, you've got the Queen on her own. She's been doing the job on her own for 2 years. She's just lost a soulmate there. It makes you wonder what's going to happen going forward. He's someone I've been really appreciative of. He's somebody I've really liked, and it was kind of still a massive shock when it came out today.
When you go through his CV and his life, even, you forget some of the things he's done. I mean, he's been involved in such a lot and done so much good work down the years that some went unnoticed, some down the years has been forgotten about. This is a man who's also a powerhouse behind the Queen, like you say, kind of, her guiding light, as it were.
Yeah, absolutely. He leaves a marvellous legacy. I mean, look at the award scheme. I mean, he worked so hard. That was his life, wasn't it? So it's like something he stuck with all through his career. And look how many people are thanking him on the news today. People that were thinking of, committing suicide, and they come to the end, and he turned their lives around. So you think of how many lives he's probably saved during his life because of his dedication and his hard work within the royal family for all these needed people. It's absolutely amazing. We're so lucky to have him, really, and as you know, most people in this country now will only know Prince Philip as the consort. We've only grown up with one consort. He's always been there, so it makes it all the harder to bear now that he's gone, doesn't it?
Now, we have you on here regarding your autograph collection, Andrew. Before we get to the Duke, how did this all start? Who was the first autograph you ever collected?
That was Peter Cushing back in 1977, way before your time, I think that was, wasn't it? Peter Cushing.
I was 8, so I was well aware of Peter Cushing. I know I sound younger.
You do. But, he was the first one. He wrote back to me, and at the time he'd just made Star Wars, and he'd been in all the Hammer horror films as well. And because he replied to me, I kind of got the bug, and I wrote to the Prime Minister, who was Jim Callaghan then, Morecambe and Wise, Larry Grace, and people like that. Because they all responded to me, I kind of got the bug, and ever since then, I was only 13 then. I'm now 58 this year, and I carried on with it. I carried on writing to people. When people said they didn't want to give autographs for one reason or another, I gave a good reason why they should, because it was for a historical collection. And a lot of times people broke the rules and replied to me. So it's become like a 10,000 strong collection now of signed photographs and letters, I'm really proud of, and categories from all walks of life. But it's the royals I'm most proud of because they're so rare and don't give them lightly. So either they come to you personally or you buy them at auction when they come up for sale. And the valuable pieces are like a work of art, really, because you don't see too many of them about. And that's what my main focus has been on, the royal family, and he plays a big part in that collection.
Yeah, one way, of course, of getting photographs is maybe at a theatre and hanging around the stage door after a performance. You don't imagine any of the royal family stood outside the gates of Buckingham Palace with a pen for an hour signing autographs. So how did you get autographs from the Duke of Edinburgh?
Well, from the Duke of Edinburgh himself, he is one of the old school, that said no, royals don't give autographs, so it was impossible. I've got loads of letters where I tried all angles to get him to reply to me, and he didn't. He wouldn't do it because he said to break one rule for you would be unfair to others, which I accepted. So eventually I kept my eye on various things coming up in auction where he'd sign a photograph to commemorate a visit to maybe a hospital which would close down, and that picture would come up for sale, maybe signed with him and the Queen.
this very subject. I went through a period as a young lad of collecting autographs, and then realising it was just a phase, and I didn't see it through, not to the extent that you did, and I'm quite jealous that you did.
I got a lot of support from the family, and then, but anybody now that comes to see it, they see it's important, or anybody important. If I ask for an autograph, they realise it's going to a historic collection. There's not going to be sold on eBay, sort of thing, and so they're happy to break rules in a lot of cases. And also of interest is that 16 years ago, I saw Duke of Edinburgh once, only once. That was at Windsor Castle for Charles and Camilla's wedding, because I used to write to Camilla Pokeballs before she was really famous and supported her. And when they got married, I got an invite to the wedding. So I went along to Windsor Castle with my sister from Lichfield, and we got right at the front where they came out from the blessing in the chapel at Windsor, and we got a video, because I went on Richard and Judy's show just afterwards, and they gave us a camera, and we filmed it all, and the royal family right in front of us. And to see Prince Philip there, and all the other royal families together, all the other members of the royal family, it was really quite surreal, It's a day we never forgot, and it's poignant that it happened today, on the anniversary of Charles's wedding.
Andrew, like I say, great to talk to you. Thank you very much for your time and a million stories, I'm sure.
To talk to you as well, mate. All the best there.
Thank you. Andrew Broughton there from Derby, autograph collector with quite the tale to tell. This is BBC Radio Derby.